Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be dealing with the fuel system. Jack has some lines that came with the rails. What kind of rails do you have? So Jack has some KG parts rails. They're known to be more old school rails, but obviously they'll flow fine. They're -8, so even if he wants to go up in power down the line, he can. But right now we have to figure out where to mount the fuel pressure regulator and see if the lines will fit. We got some fittings that should work with it, but now I just got to mess with it and see where everything should be. So I'm gonna get started. That looks kind of sick. I don't mind that. The back looked ridiculous. What are these, 19s?
Yeah. 19 by 9. 19 by 10 in the front.
Goddamn.
Then the rears are 11, 12.
Alright then.
To seat.
The fuck is this?
But
Yeah, I don't know about that.
that
shit looks ridiculous.
It's just hamburging right there.
Alright then. These are the rails. KG parts. You can see this front line is already fitted. It's kind of tight, but it works. This feed line is going to get a push lock fitting onto the fuel filter, which looks like it fits. But the one line that doesn't fit is the return. When the intake manifold is actually on, you can't really run anything else besides a 90 off of it. Right now what you'll see me take off is the line end straight, but that goes straight down and actually gets super close to the downpipe and rubs against the transmission. So we're gonna put a 90 here coming out this way, not directly back. We're gonna get a 90 here coming out at like a 45-degree angle, and then the line will run cleaner. And thinking about putting the fuel pressure regulator right around here, so it's gonna look much nicer. Let me continue putting on the fittings and we'll see where exactly this will go. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm actually on a new camera. It's the Sony a6300, and compared to the other camera I have, it's a major upgrade. So I hope the colors are better, autofocus actually works, and just as of right now it seems like it actually has a wider lens, which is nice. So let me know what you think. I'm really liking it, and I can't wait to take better videos and pictures with it. So let me know.
Depot on the beat.
Can you see it? Not really. But before, this ran straight down and, like I said, hit everything in the way. So now it's also a swivel end, so it works much nicer if we have to, wherever we have to route it. So I'm going to utilize these holes and make something coming off of them. So I got the bracket done. This is how it's gonna sit on the car. Just have to drill the 2 holes and put 2 bends in it, and it should be good to go. But deburred all the edges, and of course I drop it. Deburred all the edges, and it came out really clean. So next is to drill the holes and put bends, and then I can mount it. Wait, which way am I supposed to do it? Yeah. These hot? Warm. Ooh, that feels nice.
I think it's not. You're starting to snap.
I know, that's what I was gonna do. It's like putting butter in a saucepan. Still hot. So I made the bracket. I got these 2 holes drilled. They're actually not large enough. You can see how it's going to mount off the firewall. So I'm going to get some new drill bits so then I could drill the holes for the fuel pressure regulator and then paint it, and it should be good to go. But in the meantime, I'm going to mock up where it is and finish routing the lines into and out of the fuel pressure regulator. Alright, now this should actually fit perfect with a 90-degree swivel up to the fuel pressure regulator. It even has a bend to it for how it will be. This one's done. Now I just have to do the return from the fuel pressure regulator to the return hard line. So, I don't know if you can see, but Jack hasn't installed the injectors yet because we're gonna wait to do the wiring harness. But this line is done and routed exactly where we need, so.
Little by little.
Alright, fuel filter is in. I don't know, you can see it right there. We're actually only missing 2 fittings. One fitting we're missing is a -6 ORB plug for this side, because this is the inlet, this is the outlet. That won't be getting used, so we need a plug for that. And then for the fuel line you see right here, which is the fuel feed, we need a fitting to adapt the stock fuel filter to the -6 AN line. Basically, once we get those 2, everything will be routed. I think I'll need to trim the fuel feed AN line, because the way it looks right now, it's going to run way too high up here. But I can only do that once the fuel pressure regulator is mounted and everything else is set. Next, gotta finish this. Alright, this is the third time we've tried to do the fuel system. Finally we have the right fitting, so I'm gonna get to that and finish up the fuel system. Should be tight as well. Cool. So that is done and mounted. And look, these bolts look nice, considering everything's round with Allen keys. That all matches, which is aesthetically pleasing. Alright, so the fuel system is finally done. Next thing we have to do is plumb a coolant line for the turbo, a coolant feed specifically, because for some reason the coolant feed on the intake manifold was blocked off. We think Gooby blocked it off. We don't know. It might have been like that, so we'll just make a block off plate for the old coolant feed so it looks cleaner. But we're gonna have to drill and tap the rear iron and then route an AN line for a new coolant feed on this turbo, and then it'll be utilized for the new turbo as well. So we'll get to that next. Also have to make a block off plate for the blow off valve and put the brake master on. So we got the clutch master on, and then last thing to really plumb is the radiator. Once we get that from Lewis, everything will be plumbed, from all the oil lines for the turbo, the oil cooler, as well as the coolant lines for the turbo and the motor itself. We have to run to the store real quick to get Teflon tape and a block off and a bolt for the bottom of this to block it off, and then we'll finish the plumbing. So this is going to get drilled and tapped for a 12mm by 1.5 thread, so we could run the coolant with this fitting to the turbo.
Depot on the beat.
This is just a mock-up because you still have to run some wires and ground, but once the intake manifold is bolted on, everything, all the piping seems to be routing seamlessly with room to spare. Everything down here we're not going to have to touch, but when we do the wiring and everything, we'll have to undo the one from the throttle body. But it's all looking pretty good. It's nice to see everything getting fastened up. Still need 2 hose clamps for the upper radiator hose, but this is how it's going to be looking for the most part. Oh. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. We don't have much else to do, just 2 block off plates and buttoning up a little, and buttoning up a couple things like hoses and stuff. So hopefully in the next video we'll do that, mess with the electrical, and hopefully get it started. So look forward to that, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.